Hello everyone, my name is Havian, and today I'm going to be showing you guys some Elsword. Elsword's a game that I've known about for a while, and one that a lot of you guys have recommended to me, since I keep talking about how much I like to play loot-based games. But recently the developers reached out to me and asked if they could sponsor a video, so I could give the game a try. And so I could show those of you that haven't heard of Elsword or haven't played Elsword in a while what the game is currently like. So if what you're about to see does interest you, click the link in the description below and give the game a try, since it is free. So Elsword is a side-scrolling online RPG with action-based combat. And at its core, the game is a dungeon grinder. You pick a dungeon to explore, kill everything inside each area, fight the end boss, claim your loot, and head back to town to equip your new gear, so you can do it all over again in harder areas. When fighting, you can do a combination of light attacks and heavy attacks that have varying effects depending on the character and class that you're using. If you need to see which kind of combos you can do, or if you need a bit of help remembering the combos that your character can use, you can always refer back to the command list that's included in the game. Along with these basic combos, you can also use skills. These skills are usually attacks that you can use along with the basic combos, but there are some skills that have additional effects. Once you reach certain levels in Elsword, you'll learn most of these skills automatically, and these skills can be customized to fit your playstyle. For most of the skills, you'll have two traits to choose from. These traits usually have a safe choice with no major downsides, and another choice that is more powerful but does have a slight downside. For example, you can have a skill that increases resource consumption, but it ignores more of the enemy's defense instead. If you end up picking a trait that you don't like, you can use an item called the Tome of Amnesia and you'll be able to make another choice. Once you start getting more of these skills, you may end up wanting to practice some of your combos, and for that you can jump into the training area. I had to spend quite a bit of time in here to get used to some of the characters, since the developers provided me with a high level testing account just to mess around with. I wanted to see the kind of skills and content that you could do with a high level character, but I did spend most of my time on a normal personal account, since I wanted to understand the basics of the game before I tried a high level character. And I wanted to see if the game does a good job of explaining itself to new players. And honestly, the game is pretty easy to follow. It tends to steer you in the right direction with the story, and there's a built-in guide that covers enough of the basics to get you going. When it comes to the visuals, the anime style does look nice. I did have to make a few adjustments to the game's settings to push the graphics as high as they could go, since the game is starting to show its age. But on the bright side, for those of you that run lower end systems, it does seem like this game should be able to run on most computers, so you should be okay. And the game ran pretty smooth, so hopefully you won't run into any issues if you decide you want to try it out. By default, this game uses keyboard controls, but it does support controllers. Personally, I use the controller because they just feel more natural to me for side-scrolling action games, but it is fully playable with a keyboard if that's what you prefer. The dungeons in Elsword consist of rooms that are filled with enemies that need to be killed before you can continue. Some of these rooms may have mid-bosses that you'll need to take down before you can progress, and at times extra challenges will appear that will give you bonuses if they're completed before the dungeon ends. Once you reach the end of the dungeon, you'll have to fight a boss that usually has more mechanics to think about and more attacks to avoid compared to the other enemies. Once the dungeon is complete, you'll be ranked and you'll receive your rewards. These rewards are usually crafting materials and new bits of equipment. And from what I've seen so far, the dungeons start off very small at the start of the game and things get more complex as you progress. You can enter most of these dungeons on your own, or you can use the auto group finder to find other people to play with. And for those of you that are more competitive, there are various PvP modes that you can take part in that have unique rewards. So if you feel like you need a break from all the dungeon grinding, there's still something there for you to do. I briefly mentioned it earlier, but Elsword does follow a storyline. It also has a ton of quests and side stories for each of the 12 characters. The story scenes are presented through short anime cutscenes and comic style images, and for the most part, from what I've seen, these story scenes are voice acted. You can choose to use the default English voices, which includes voice acting from Christina V and Bryce Papenbrook, whose voices I'm sure some of you will recognize. Or if you prefer, you can use the original Korean voices, since those are included in the game too. But I have to say, one thing that surprised me about this game was the amount of choice I had when it came to customization and playstyles. The game has 12 characters, and each of those characters will have 3 or 4 unique classes that they can be. And these classes will advance into higher ranked versions the further into the game that you get, offering new skills that enhance the way that character plays. You can upgrade and customize your equipment, equip various different accessories and outfits to change your character's appearance, and you can even keep the visual appearance of certain gear while having the stats of others. And if you want to take the customization even further, it does look like you can change your character's animations and the visual appearance of some abilities. It does seem like the majority of the visual customization options came from the cash shop in the game. At first glance, most things in the cash shop seem to be customization based, with other items doing things like increasing inventory space, adding additional skill slots, or pets that can collect loot for you while you're in dungeons. But while playing on my normal account, it did feel like the game threw a lot of premium items my way. I managed to get a lot of the things that I saw in the cash shop through quests, through reaching milestones within the game, and from some of the events that were running during the time while I was playing. And from the looks of things, you can buy items from other players through the in-game auction house. So as of right now, the cash shop does seem fair, but this is just based on first impressions of it. But overall, I can say based on my brief time with the game, Elsword is a fun game to play. And honestly, even though I knew of this game's existence, it does feel like this game went way under the radar for me. I think one of the main things that usually puts me off about free-to-play games is when they have a stamina system in place. And that is something that Elsword has. But I do have to say that at the rate I was playing the game, it never really felt like the stamina system was a problem. And it didn't feel like it was holding me back from progressing. Just knowing that the game had this system was probably the main reason I didn't give it a chance before. But now that I've actually had a chance to play it, I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised. So if you like the way this game looks, or if you're just like me, you didn't consider giving the game a chance in the past, click the link below and give the game a try. It's free. And if you have played Elsword in the past, or if you're currently playing it now, then leave some tips or leave a bit of basic information for anyone that may be starting the game soon. I'm pretty sure there's some stuff that you guys know that you would want them to know. But that's all I have to show you for Elsword. If you enjoyed this video, then leave it a like, and if you want to watch more of my videos, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. If you want to view my live streams, then follow me on Twitch, and if you want to stay up to date with everything I'm doing, then follow me on Twitter. The links to everything are in the description. I'll be making some new videos very soon, but until I make those videos, I'll see you all later.